earlier this year, we launched StoryFile in the DuSable Museum in Chicago, and it was in conjunction with Time Magazine. It was around. It's called the March, and it's around Dr. Martin Luther King's famous speech in the Washington March, or March on Washington, and we did a story file of one of the activists that helped organize the march in, and it was kind of a compliment to the actual exhibition. That was really exciting. She was an amazing woman, and we also just completed along the same lines. We just completed an interview with a 105-year-old woman. She was the last known survivor of the Tulsa riots in early 19th century, or early 20th century, like 1912, 1916, sometime in that. I forget the actual date, but she's just a treasure. I mean, she's to be able to live 100 years and talk to her about what she's seen over those 100 years in this world was amazing. Um, the successes overall, though, that we've had this year have mostly been in the tech sphere and developing our tech. We've finally gotten a beta app out on the App Store that allows you to record your own story file. It's a very small script, so those scripts will get bigger, and you'll be able to ask more and more questions as the time goes by and as the app matures. But that's been a huge feat to get out there. So we're really excited about that beta app, and we're excited to see how people use it and see, what kind of stories they tell, how they use it, what they find that they wanted to do, what they couldn't do, what worked, what didn't work, things like that. So that's exciting.
Yes. So when you say, people start using it, and you are like very much interested to know what has worked and what has not worked. So for sure, accuracy plays a major role when we talk about artificial intelligence. So what is the efforts that has been put by you and your team to ensure that you get a lot of accuracy built in whatever the product that you deliver?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yes. So what I was mentioning is like, whenever we talk about artificial intelligence, accuracy plays a major role. So accuracy is how accurate the data is being provided, and how accurate the people feels the data is too much of accuracy. So I just wanted to understand how you and your team puts in their tremendous efforts in achieving the accuracy there.
So are you asking how we make sure that the artificial intelligence is accurate?
Yes, exactly. I'm questioning on that.
Okay. So artificial intelligence is not uh, automatic.
Yes.
It's based on a set of data. The larger that set of data is, the more accurate the artificial intelligence is. Our tech is based on two components, and one is obviously a very strong natural language processing software system. We have a bespoke system that we've created for StoryFile, and it's been trained over the last couple years with countless entries into that database. So we're constantly we also have somewhat of a machine learning component that analyzes the logs, and we're constantly updating and learning from it. The more people that start to use this platform and the StoryFile application, mobile app in particular, uh, that AI will continuously be learning, and the more it's crowdsourced, the more that data will be crowdsourced and increase, and built upon. So we're I mean, we're doing a lot of crazy things with natural language processing, including, you know, being able to hone in on past and present when you're talking to somebody. Really understand the context of the question and not just what the question was and matching that. Being able to add your own questions in real time and then having those questions automatically trained. That's going to be huge. So we're working on a lot of different things to push natural language processing to make our system more and more accurate. It relies a lot, like any other system, on speech recognition. Speech recognition's gotten a lot better over the years. Uh, you know, Google's ASR is incredible worldwide in multiple languages. Our mobile app is not in multiple languages as of yet, but it will be. And that's, yeah, those, it continue, the artificial intelligence continually gets more and more accurate with the more people that speak to it. That's just a force of nature.
Got it. Got it. Thank you, Hitu, on that.
Hmm.
And for
And
sure, yep, yeah, Lena.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure if you had a chance just to do the quick introduction of what Heather's title is and what Heather's doing before I hopped on. I didn't know how, because we have David Nussbaum coming on in about 15 minutes. So I didn't know if that would be helpful just to give you a little context.
Yes, so probably initially I was just briefing out Heather on that. So this particular session would be a small interaction with Heather and as well as with David. So as a part of AI Time Journal interview, so we are doing this initiative. So this sort of interview, we will try to publish it in AI Time Journal as well as on various social media platforms.
Okay, so my name is Heather Smith, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of StoryFile.
Yeah.
Thank
Great.
you.
Sure.
Apologies for that. I just wanted to make sure you had that information.
Yes, we had it like before you joined, so we had that
Great.
sort of introduction.
Great.
And you should, you are the one who has not introduced yourself.
Oh, you
What?
haven't, Alana, you haven't introduced yourself.
Oh, I haven't introduced myself. I'm sorry. I'm Alana Weiner, and I'm working with StoryFile during their media and communication. It's been an amazing journey. And we worked together to send out the joint press release with Portal to share the partnership and the news. So
Great,
that's it.
great. Thank you.
Sure.
And Peter, like second on to that. And for sure, the main buzz here is all about the recent launch of world's first AI plus hologram machine. It is really on top when I was actually going through that particular article where I was getting in detail what exactly the product, how it is like giving a benefits to the people and how it can be used in various applications. Either it can be like a mall place or it can be a museum. So there are like wide range of applications for that particular product that has been launched by you and as well as Portal recently. So you being one of the crucial person behind that recent launch, can you just give us a small brief about what exactly the StoryFile has done in it and what are the major contributions from StoryFile for it?
Yeah, I think the major contribution actually that StoryFile gives to Portal is making it more human. So, but in my opinion, Portal adds a lot more to StoryFile in that for years we've been trying to offer museums and clients of StoryFile a way to visualize the StoryFile or the StoryFiler. So the person that they want to talk to and they want their public to talk to and engage with and interact with, the museum's first question is always, well, okay, what does the exhibit look like? Like, what can we do with this? It can be shown on a life-size monitor, like an LED monitor. It's great on that, works beautifully. really, really engages with the audience. You feel the resolution is so good that you just really feel like you can see every single detail of that person as if they were there. Second, you can project it, obviously. Third, you can set up a holographic theater. But that, by the way, that takes a lot of space, a large footprint in a museum to do. It's a minimum of a 24, 45-foot, room. So, and it's often holographic imagery is used mostly in theater applications. So they're set up in large theaters because that's the farther you are away from the holographic effect, the better the effect is. So it's much better in larger theaters. Now, that's also a very expensive option. I mean, it can run anywhere from $250,000 to $1.5 million, like 1.5 million to do a theater. What we wanted and what we've been looking for is something to offer our clients that's a smaller footprint and gives them the idea that the sense and the feeling that someone is actually in front of you and they're speaking to you. And for that, we needed, you need the full body. You needed to feel as if that person, you were talking to them, they had depth to them, that you could see them move around. You could see the resolution had to be really, really good so that you could see all of their facial features and the details. And Portal offers that. So what we're excited about is any customers that want to use the Portal application or the Portal unit in order to show a story file to their public. We're really looking forward to seeing where it goes. I mean, like you said, it could go in malls, it could go in movie theaters. You could talk to, your next Fast and Furious or next James Bond in a portal. You can go to any museum and talk to a former astronaut or the world's leading anthropologist or Jane Goodall. You can really get the whole idea behind StoryFile is that we wanted you to feel as if you were having a conversation with an individual. You were able to ask them the questions that you wanted to ask, not being told what I want you to know. Like when you write an article, unfortunately, you're telling the public what you want them to know. With StoryFile, we wanted you to go and ask the questions that you want of that individual whenever you want to do it. At 10 years down the line, think of another question. 2 minutes later, think of another question. Listen to a response and think of another question, a follow-up question. So, and we wanted you to continually be able to have these conversations, whether it's with a relative of yours. Like, how cool would it be for you to talk to your great-great-grandmother?
Yes.
And just ask her about her life. What did her parents do? Where did you live? What was your hometown like? What was your family life like? So all of this allows you to be able to do that. And it will allow, unfortunately, we can't do that with our relatives, but our grandchildren, great-grandchildren will be able to do it with their relatives if we all do story files. So if we make this StoryFile human archive, then everybody in the future will have the opportunity to ask questions and talk to, maybe there's someone that's going to become someone's hero that we don't even know of. And they do a story file. Then 50 years later, some little kid can talk to their hero. So it's a big vision, and you can do it. It ends up feeling sort of like we are on Zoom. It ends up feeling like a Zoom call or like a FaceTime on your phone, or I don't know if anybody uses Skype anymore, but It was always, it's always
Yes.
been compared to, like, people feel like this person's on Skype with them. So it's, you know, any mobile device, any tablet, any computer, you can have these conversations, or a portal.
Got it. So in fact, I was supposed to ask you about the great grandmothers and all that applications. You have answered it well in advance. And moving on, so what are the other applications or other opportunities that you see to this product?
Education. Can you
Okay.
imagine? Okay, think about when you were in college and you were in one of those big lecture halls with 300 kids, right? Were you able to ask your question? I mean, how many times did you write a question, or write a question mark next to what the professor said? And then you'd have to go home, try and find the answer, look up how to do that, review your notes. What if you could just ask that professor, explain this to me again, walk me through in detail that equation that you just wrote on the chalkboard, or explain to me this, the explain to me how gravity works again. You know, it would completely eliminate all of the you know, the need to go to for professors' office hours or things like that. Or you could just ask follow-up questions. Maybe your mind was wandering during the for 5 minutes and you missed a whole section. You know, you could just ask them, oh, can you go back and explain that to me? You know, and you don't have to watch the entire lecture again. You could just ask that question. Or maybe you had
Yes.
a follow-up question and said, well, okay, you've explained this, but how does that relate to Y, you know, to X, or this? Um, Education it would be huge, massive for education. First of all, kids love to ask questions. They love
Yes.
to engage. They love to interact with people. They don't want to just sit there and be, you know, spoken to. They want to actually be involved with it. And so education is a huge thing. um, Museum application, the family legacy of, you know, corporations, institutional memory, whether it's a
Any
government, you know, whether it's a
anything on medicinal field, will it put it on, like medical fields?
yeah, medical students. You know, we have a product that allows you to visualize something. We take a volumetric capture of a device, and right now we're working with a medical device company, and they make these intricate medical devices used in surgery. So the customers are the surgeons, right? And what you can do is we take this 360 image of this object. You can zoom in and zoom out, and you can ask questions. What does this button do? Show me how to use this in surgery. You know, how does this best work? And you can go through the entire device like that. You know, yeah, universities and medical training would be amazing application. Um, Anytime, you know, you have something, you've lived a life, whether it's in politics or you've changed the world in some way, or you've added to the in, you know, to the conversation. Anytime you've done that and you have experience, we want that experience. We want you to be able to talk to people and get that experience and get why and what was going on and how did that feel and what did you learn from it. That's the most important thing to being human. What did you learn along your journey that I can learn from you to help me and help my journey? That's what we're trying to do. No matter who you are, everybody has a story. Everybody.
Got it. Got it. And I think even David has
David's
joined this
here.
session.
Good
Yes, yes. So
morning.
I could see holographic image of David
Yeah.
here.
Oh, Oh,
Hi,
now we see,
David.
now we see the real one.
Here I am beaming in from Los Angeles.
We were liking your portal version.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
gonna
hologram me is always better than real life me. So
no, that's not true. Not true at all.
You look great in real as well, David.
Alana and David, I'm going to leave you for a minute, but if you have any other questions, I'll keep my audio on. So if you have any other questions, just ask. Reach out.
Yes, so I have like a few more questions also. So how can we proceed? Like, can I have it both David and Geeta, like my questions shooting out to both at a time, or you want to finish off your portion first and then continue with?
You have questions for both of us?
Not in person. I can manage with both at a time also. That won't be an issue. Like one question to you and one to Geeta. More or less, like we are actually discussing on a product that has been launched recently. So both your views at a stretch would be fine. That is what I feel.
Why don't you ask David the questions that you had for him?
And Heather, you can come back on.
And, yeah.
Yes.
Hear you in stereo. I love it.
You have your another.
I just
picture,
need
right?
more. I need more hot coffee.
Sure.
get me some too, Heather.
Okay.
I'm jonesing for some coffee over here.
Okay. Just let me know when you need me. I'll be
Sure,
ready.
fine. Yeah. Hi, David. This is Jagan. I'm from AI Time Journal, so editorial associate here. So I've been handling interviews with technocrats, CXOs, and all that. So yes, I thought after seeing your recent launch on AI and hologramic product, so me and Martin, we were discussing we should actually understand what is the work that is being put behind by StoryFile and Portal people. And yes, I was really fascinated to go through it.
Well, nice to meet you, Jagan. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, you got it right.
Great. Well, ask away.
Yes.
I'm an open book.
Yes. See, for example, I've just read this line in one of the news that is being published on this particular product. The essence of recreating the historic and the memorable events through the life-size holograms and giving the people an opportunity to do a conversation at any time or anywhere. First of all, I would just like to understand how exactly this extraordinary idea has got a life. So can you just give us a small journey behind it, how you started and where it started and how it got this shape?
Sure. Well, you know, my background is in hologram entertainment. Some of the things that I did that people would know me for would be like digital resurrections. I'd bring dead people, dead artists back to posthumously perform in concerts all around the world. The other thing that I did a lot of was holopresence or hologram telepresence, beaming the living legends from wherever they were to wherever they needed to be in real time. So with the ability to hear, see, and interact. So I thought, how great would it be to take the entertainers and the politicians and the people that regular people like me, regular people want to see important people. I thought, let's take the idea of freezing a person in time, and also the ability to interact with them in real time. And when I met Heather and StoryFile, I thought, how amazing. She's doing everything that I wish I could do, and she's doing it even better. So I am very fortunate that I get to now have StoryFile as a part of my hologram projection devices. You know, freezing a person in time at the age that they are, having them say whatever it is that they are known for doing, but also having the ability to interact with them, ask them any question about their life, any question about their journey, and that's exactly what StoryFile does. So that's why I'm overjoyed with this partnership.
Got it. So like Portal has got its launch it has got started recently in 2019. But by 2020, having such a huge pandemic, lockdowns, everything, how, I mean, it's actually, I would visualize this as a quick and as well as a big success of this launch in in such a short period of time. So, what exactly the motive or what exactly the objective that is being behind launching Portal, and how do you see this journey of Portal for the next 5 years?
Okay, great question. So yeah, I launched Portal just a little over a year ago, but I've been producing hologram stuff for almost 10 years. So
Okay.
it has been an evolution. I was using the technology that was most famously used to put Tupac on stage at Coachella in 2012. Although I had nothing to do with that particular event. That was sort of the technology I was using. It required darkness. It required large setups. It required huge structures. It required days, even weeks of setup time, and it was very expensive to to set up and operate. So when I started Portal, I thought it was great that I can now create this, the same effect essentially of a digital person or a virtual person in an open space, but in a self-contained single passenger, hollow portation machine. So the evolution took 8 or 9 or 10 years to accomplish. So that's kind of where we are today. Right now, we are close to finalizing our design on our tabletop unit, which would be like we're doing Zoom right now, Jagan, but in a year's time, we will portal to portal into each other's homes. So your hologram will be in my home, my hologram will be in your home, and it'll be a much more emotional, realistic experience. So that's in the next year, 2 years. I think the way, and then eventually I think portals will be in everybody's homes. I think just like laptops, just like television sets, just like, I think that we are a device that will allow people this personal telecommunications platform, as well as a content delivery system.
Right.
But more importantly, with StoryFile embedded in every device, it gives people the opportunity to have conversations with everybody from, living legends all the way to their family members who they may not have seen in a long time. I've come to realize that StoryFile is so incredible because I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old daughter. I can film them right now through Heather's StoryFile production. And I could film them as they are right now, as 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. And then 10 years from now, my future 15 and 16-year-old daughters can actually have a conversation with their younger selves. What's your favorite ice cream? Who are your friends? What are your parents like? And they'll answer it like they're 5 and 6. That to me is the most amazing thing. It's like, my grandparents had a picture in a picture frame, and we get to have, video, we could take videos of our kids. Now in the future, people will be able to have holograms and interactive experiences with their loved ones. To me, that is the future. That's where we're going 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
That's amazing. So I can put it in this way, like probably you are actually planning to build a Hollywood studio or a Disneyland studio or any political arena in each and every home. So that is what I could just foresee through your through your response to it.
Can you ask me that question again? I'm really sorry. I had a little bit of trouble hearing. Just one more time, please.
Yes. So I was just, based on your response, I was just imagining that you are trying to create an Hollywood studio or an Disneyland, or it can be any political parliament in each and every home. So that is what your thought of vision is getting replicated in my mind.
Well, we have, we have, I think the studio will be a thing of the past as well. Currently, we use studios. Heather and StoryFile's production technique is is different than a normal portal production technique. They have a much more volumetric, and they have a very robust kind of 360 production process. My production technique is we're moving away from the studio and we're putting the power of the hologram production into people's phones. We're developing an app that will automatically rotoscope the person out of their environment, will replace the background with anything, any environment, any color, any background, create shadows, reflections, create all of the necessary production effects needed to have that the portal production effect. So right now, you know, we have our studios, green screen studios and production studios with expensive 4K cameras. But I think in the future, everybody will be able to create their own hologram content right from their own devices that they already have and upload it into their into their portal devices.
Got it.
Yeah, and that goes for politicians, that goes for entertainers, that goes for CEOs, religious leaders, inspirational speakers, basically anybody who needs to be somewhere that they can't be, or into as many places at the exact same time as they want to be. So Heather, when she's giving...
That's going to be the real genius of Portal versus Portal with StoryFile. Like you're going to be able to see and hear people that, and feel like you've talked to people that you would never have access to. Like David said, like the politicians, you know, you could put a portal on a stage and people could just ask questions all day long even with the StoryFile, or they could do it live also. But with StoryFile, it allows you don't have to actually be live. Well, you could do it anytime. You know, people can go up to you in the mall and talk to you and ask you about your platform, or ask you about your parents if they want to, you know, and find out really who you are as a person and a politician. Like, do I trust you? And the only way that you're going to get that is if you actually ask these people questions and see them talking to you and feel as if you've talked to them and you've connected with them. You know, are they trustworthy? Do you feel connected to them? You know, it's all about feeling that this person's got my back when you're voting for a politician. So yeah.
And also anybody could talk to a person who's live. That happens every single day. So what I like about StoryFile is that it's like you're talking to a live person, but this person obviously is not available to have these conversations. I think it is the future of communications.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And David,
so like,
can you tell him about the small portal?
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that for a second.
We've had we've had people that have seen these little devices with their family members in them, and they're like, I want that on my kitchen table. I want to be able to just hear my grandmother's voice or my mom's voice, because that's honestly, you know, you forget a lot.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah.
There you go. See, Jagan, there we have a little mini tabletop.
There we go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the StoryFile embedded in these minis will, I think, change the game. I think it's not just a telecommunications device or a content delivery system, but it's a portal into the future. You're having conversations with your loved ones. You're having conversations with celebrities. You're having, like Heather was saying, you could talk to politicians. You could talk to, NASA astronauts. These are conversations
all of your heroes.
Your heroes.
Cool. So like my next question would be actually focusing on the recent strategic relationship between StoryFile and Portal. Because when I could converse separately with David and Heather, so I could just find a strength or a strong bond or a strong relationship between both the companies. So like, how do you foresee the future, like for any future collaborations, similar to the AI hologramic product, you also have any pipeline products or any pipeline projects with both the collaborations?
Oh, I could see a lot of application. From my side, from StoryFile, we could, for example, integrate that the holographic technology that David was talking about on the mobile app, and being able to do that automatically for yourself. You could film a story file like that on the app, on our app. So if we integrated the two, or we, did if I licensed that from him, or worked out a partnership with him on that, then you could opt to do your story file with that. So that, I mean, there are probably a ton of things we could do, David.
Look, I don't think so. For years, I'm out there selling either live or pre-recorded hologram effect content, and it's great. But there's always competition, right? There are other hologram companies that have other hologram business models, but everybody is out there either selling live or pre-recorded content. I am now fortunate to have this strategic alliance, this partnership with Heather and StoryFile. I don't see another meeting that I take that ends before I talk about how I can bundle the world's greatest hologram projection machines, Portal, with the future of conversations, really, and an absolutely world-class AI delivery system with StoryFile. I think it's the combination of the delivery device and the content that Heather has developed is I think it's just a match made in heaven. So
and
that's
Jagan, you should know that I've been in the holographic display visualization field as well for the last 15 years, and I knew the company that David used to work with and develop, was heading up, but I actually never talked to them. But this is what we've been wanting in this field. All of us, not just me, but everybody in this field has wanted a really, really good, effective, small footprint holographic unit. And that's never been done, and certainly not done at a price that everybody could really afford. It's simply the best that I've seen out there.
Heather, if you keep saying nice things about me, I'm going to have to, get you an extra large Christmas present this year. It's very nice of you. No, I really appreciate that. It's great to hear.
No, but it's the truth. It's the only, I wouldn't have chosen you to do this with.
Right. Well, and again, Jagan, Heather is, she's she's the leader in this category. She is on the front lines of this. So as things continue to develop, it'll be Heather and StoryFile that's who's pushing the limits on this type of technology. Everybody else that you've heard of, any other type of technology, they are following what Heather's doing.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. Both of you are sharing your both positives and the strengthening points between you both. Thank you so much about it. And David, can you just answer me this particular question? So do you have any any ambitious project or any fascinating project that you want to accomplish through Portal in your pipeline? That could be anything, any project that is in top of your mind that you wanted to achieve it.
Oh, I have one.
Okay, and
yeah, please,
for David.
Please.
We want to do.
Oh, you have.
And this is really in relation to you, because you could find him because he's in your country right now. I know this.
Okay.
The Dalai Lama. How cool would it be? How cool would it be to have the Dalai Lama in a portal, answering any question you wanted, or the Dalai Lama sitting on your kitchen counter, and you could talk to him about or in your meditation room with you, and you're actually meditating with him, you know, and that would be amazing.
So altogether, you got a different application, something through spiritual, or that requires a state of peace for every people in the country.
Well,
Yes.
I could have that in a meditation room with my portal. I could do that.
Yes.
Sorry, David, I cut you.
No,
What would be your
well, a few years ago, my old technology was used to beam now Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, around the country from the safety of his green screen studio in Delhi into almost 2,000 locations, which helped him, boost his awareness and popularity, helping him win the Prime Minister election in, I think, 2014. So for me, I think portals in every city around the United States with Joe Biden beaming into all of them would be something. Now, it's not a StoryFile thing, although I think
we've actually, David, we've had communications with the Biden campaign about doing just that.
Sure.
So
well,
it would be a great StoryFile.
Let's beam him around right now, and then we can put his StoryFile hologram in his presidential library in time. But I think, look, there's a million different ways to answer this question, but I think something that sends shockwaves like that, Dalai Lama, StoryFile, or any kind of enormous politician personality. I think that's sort of where we're going. This is it's a communications device. It's a way to be a participant in something that is the future, right? There's, sometimes people wait too long to get onto the train, right? People often want to see people lead, and then they'll follow with what they think is the right path. So with Heather's StoryFile, she's leading with this technology. I'm just happy to be a vehicle for how the technology is being viewed and interacted with.
Good. I think a lot of ideas is being coming out for for further collaborations between StoryFile and Portal Life. Yes. So almost we have come to the end of this particular session. So before we finish up, so I've just come with 2 questions. It's sort of fun with your thoughts. So I have made one question to David on on holographic, and one question to Heather on artificial intelligence. But now what I feel is I should interchange the questions. I think the AI question should go to David and holographic question should go to Heather. So here we go. So first to David. So can you just tell me, at 2050, so in the future at 2050, how extensively artificial intelligence would be in use? So what would be the evolution of artificial intelligence? At the same time, what could be the craziest applications that artificial intelligence can take place?
You're asking me?
No, he's asking me.
That's for David.
Yeah. David. Okay.
Okay. So actually, I prepared this question for Heather. So I thought David would be. Let me put it the other way. Yeah.
That's a terrific question. I think that's too smart of a question for me. It's really a perfect question for Heather. How will artificial intelligence be used in 2050? Well, look. For me, the obvious answer is that we StoryFile all of our loved ones right now. We freeze them in time. We make them live forever with the ability to answer any question as it related to them at the time of the StoryFile filming. So I think my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren would be able to have conversations with me. They would want to know about my life. They would want to know about this interview. They would want to know about my parents, who they will have never met. I think, everybody has a story. And I think that my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and future generations might be interested in knowing who their, ancestors were. for me, that's the obvious answer, but I'm sure there are way cooler ways that AI is going to be used. Perhaps Heather, can answer that a little bit better than I can.
Thank you.
I've been in the artificial intelligence now space for over 10 years. And, I've been on a lot of panels where people are saying, people have said, oh, the future of AI, it's going to take over the world and you're not going to be able to know this from this and et cetera. And, are we going to lose everything to AI? Or is it going to be able to think better than us or take over our jobs and do things and, or, do something nefarious to the world, God forbid. I personally don't see that happening, actually. There is the human brain and the way that we work, and the ability to create is something that I don't see being replicated or anticipated in any shape. I don't think there's any way. You can't tell me that Van Gogh would actually pick that color at that moment specifically to paint at that exact spot with this amount of depth, and not blend it. You can't. You can't do that. So I'm not one of those doomsday people with AI. I do think that it will help us communicate and help us think of things, stop us from making mistakes maybe because they can analyze data in a certain way or find information faster than we could. But other than that, I don't see I think that's going to be the best of it. For sure.
Got it. I mean, that was a different, profound statement from you. Thanks for it, Heather. And next fun question to Heather, to you. So, which famous historical figure would you like to revive as an holographic, like a representation? And what question would you ask them?
Go for it, David.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Historical. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. It would probably be a. For me, I'd love to sit down opposite Robin Williams, maybe, or I'd love to sit down. Who am I thinking about here? I think it would have to be some form of an entertainer or a comedian. I love entertainment. I wanted to be an entertainer when I grew up. So I obsessed over watching Saturday Night Live and Letterman and stuff as a kid. So I think maybe I sit down opposite like Robin Williams and ask him, what question do I ask Robin Williams? Good Lord. This is a really tough question. I actually have never thought of this question or how to answer it. I did recently bring back Ronald Reagan as a hologram so I did.
And that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, look, my answer is terrible so far. So I will say I have brought back with a group of really amazing people. I worked with a company called Digital Frontier who did all the CGI work on the Ronald Reagan hologram that is at the Ronald Reagan Library right now in Simi Valley. So bringing back historical figures is a thing that we do. I'm not sure I would have any questions to ask a hologram. Just like Heather said moments ago, it's not going to, if you bring back a historical figure, the answer that you get from them, it more than likely won't be the exact question the way that he or she would have answered it if he or she were still alive, which is why StoryFile is so important, because you're capturing the person now while they're still answering the questions the way they want to answer the questions. I didn't answer your question, Jagan, but
No,
I
but
am.
I'm very proud of you that you got that, David.
Yes.
It took me like 90 minutes to get there, but you know.
No. You were paying attention in my discussion yesterday that I was
Sure. Well, it makes a lot of sense, you know.
As far as bringing back a character, I have issue, as David alluded to. I have issues with that. Not that we can't do it. We can do it. Right now, there's talk of kind of resurrecting Martin Luther King, for example, and being able to have a conversation with him. You have to put a disclaimer on it. You can't not put a disclaimer. It's not really, you're not really having a conversation with that person. You're having a conversation with not, it's way better than a digital character or an avatar, 100% better than that. But it's not like talking to the real person and getting them, their response in their own words, how they would say it, their body language, which Jagan, probably better than anyone. Most of communication is body language. It's not the words that we say. So
Yes.
it's AI. That's something that AI can't replicate. I've had people that I've interviewed that have started to cry during a response that I never would have thought that they would tear up over. It just wasn't, and then after, you ask a follow-up question, you say, well, why is that so emotional for you? And it's a completely different answer than you would have expected. An AI can't predict that. So that's difficult. Okay. As far as who I would want to, if I was to resurrect someone and to have a conversation with, at this point right now,
It's a tough one. I mean,
what
about you, Jagan?
There's so many people. Nelson Mandela, Stan Lee from Marvel. I was writing a proposal to do a story file with him the day he died, and I will never, ever, I will regret that till I die, probably. Yeah, just people like that, we lost, there are people that can't do story files anymore that are even still alive, like astronauts that are still alive that walked on the moon, that we won't be able to get a story file out of those people. And that's sad. It's really sad. We lost Aretha Franklin, I mean, just so many people. John Lewis, who just passed away, was probably as close as you could get to interviewing a live person to Martin Luther King, and that whole experience, that whole era, that whole movement, and we lost that opportunity. So now we have to get all the people that are still alive around him also. But there are a couple people that are still, but nothing like him. So we just have to convince everybody to do it. If everybody does it, then everybody will have a story file. We'll have that human archive or archive of humanity. And then everybody won't be asking this question: who would you have wanted to talk to? What would you have asked this person? Who would you want at your dinner table? Now you can have them at your dinner table, and have a conversation over dinner, you know, with the tabletop
Yes.
thing. So yeah, I'm really hopeful that the future of in the future, people will be able to get to know people and learn those people wherever and whoever they want.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. David, like you were asking a question in between.
What?
You were asking some question in between, right?
Oh,
So
I was
I
asking you if you had an answer to that, to your own question. Who would you bring back, Jagan, and what would you ask that person?
um,
You have
it's
to know an
actually
answer. If you're going to ask us a question, you got to answer it yourself.
that's what. That's what. It's actually easy to question rather than answering. So I'll just answer your question. So I would try to get Mother Teresa to the picture. And I would, in fact, ask her a question. So, what was her motive to leave her country and come to India and like serve the people here all her life? So, what was the motive behind it? So, that would be one sort of thing which I could instantly get into my mind. Also, probably I could think I could have bring Hitler back and then have some cool coffee show with him, understand his various philosophies in a cooler way. So that would be a second answer
Wait.
for
Who was the last person?
Hitler, Adolf Hitler.
Really?
Woo.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
So
look, the Mother Teresa answer was right on though.
Don't
That was
go there. We're gonna end this call because otherwise, Yagan, I'm gonna be on this call with you for another hour, explaining to you why that would be a horrible idea.
No, that was on a funny part instead, but Mother Teresa would be my
I would love
answer
to.
where I
I
could.
would love to ask. I would love to interrogate the real Hitler. I mean, I wish that he had not committed suicide, and we could have asked him. You know, psychologists and psychiatrists could have analyzed his brain forever, but since that didn't happen, there's no way, no way.
You know, it's kind of interesting, Jagan. Your
Yes.
brain, you went with Mother Teresa, like one of the most amazing, angelic, like beautiful, like almost an angel, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
she's a
yes,
saint,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then Hitler, the anti-Mother Teresa. You went on both, like polar opposites. Very interesting.
No, I thought I could show the world the cooler part of Hitler on my show. So that was the intention on it. But sure. that will
All right.
that will be one such terrible idea as such. Yes.
How about that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, David and Hito, for your time spent. For this almost 45 minutes, I could understand various points and various ideas that both of you were sharing it to me. And in fact, what I could see is a strong collaboration between StoryFile and Portal. So that was very well reflected in both of your both of your responses. So I wish both StoryFile and Portal to have lot more success stories, and I wanted to have a next interview based on the next product that you both launch. So I wish you both all the best for your forthcoming projects. Thank you so much on it.
Hey,
And
thanks.
if you want to add few more points or anything to be add, you can please.
When are you planning to launch the story?
So this will come in next week. So we will be doing it in an because I've just done only the audio recording. So I have to just discuss with the team whether it's going to be released as an article or it will be as like a bits of voices. So that team will plan and we'll come back Alan about that. So probably
Great.
it would be launched next week.
Okay. So if you need anything in the meantime, if you need any other materials, please let me know. I'm happy to help facilitate whatever you need.
Sure. Yeah.
And it would be wonderful if you don't mind, and I'll send you an email now with my contact information to email me once the story is live and to any social media clips.
Sure, fine. We'll do that. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David, and thank you, Hito, for such a long session.
Listen, it was an honor talking to you, Jagan. I was very excited to talk to you. Thanks for being interested in what we do.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
And I'm gonna set you on the Dalai Lama thing. You know, maybe you can knock on the door. Just
Sure. Fine. Thank you. That was a cool. And David, you have to respond to that question.
Oh, what's the question?
No, like Heather wanted Dalai Lama's no, like holographic to be done so that she can interact with him in her mediation.
Okay. I didn't
no,
quite
you said
understand.
he said Robin Williams. You would do.
I still have to answer that question?
You did.
I answered it like 90 different ways. I don't think I answered the question, but
We have a big spectrum of people that
Yes.
we want to do.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, David. Thank you, Elena. Bye.
Sweet dreams.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good day. Good day.